Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to today's community briefing. It's the 22nd of February in the year 2024, and we are glad you are here. My name is Gregory Sneed, one of the co-hosts of the community briefing, along with Crystal, Stephen, and Robin. And our guest today is Jean Franklin. She'll be joining us momentarily. So sit back, relax. We're continuing our information and programming for Black History Month, African American History Month, and Colored Folks History Month. um, yeah, I guess at some point in time, that's what we was, right? But now
we're many. We've been many things, but yes.
So with that, let me introduce our African American queen of the community briefing, Miss Crystal Mitchell.
Good morning, everyone. Glad to have you. Another wonderful Thursday morning, one of my favorite days of the week. Welcome to the community briefing. I am Crystal Mitchell. I am the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars, as well as business coaching consultant in the city of Los Angeles. I work with a number of our small business communities and our organizations that provide technical assistance for those businesses. Here on the community briefing, this was an inspiration that I created, that was inspired during the pandemic to make sure we knew what was going on, how we were going to get access to what was going on, especially to any of the dollars that were there. Took a mind of its own, and we brought this amazing panel of co-hosts and producers. And so today it's our source of information into the community. So it's powered and sponsored by Recycling Black Dollars and the BBA, the Black Business Association, as well as monetarily sponsored by Southern California Edison, SoCal Gas, PCR, Wells Fargo Bank, Urban Excellence, our newest and latest, and the Los Angeles LDC. Anyone else that wants to support, please feel free to do so. With that, I am going to introduce, you've already met Greg, Mr. Stephen Turner. He was there a moment ago. He'll be back. He's the producer. Without him, these amazing guests that we have would be challenged. And then finally, the other female energy is Miss Robin Phillips, and I'm going to turn it over to her so she can introduce herself. Good morning to everyone. We have an amazing guest today. Thank you, guys. I met Renee in person for the very first time on Saturday. Been speaking and seeing her every week for 4 years, and we finally got to see each other in person. We even memorized it in photo with James Burke.
That was amazing. I mean, all these years, and then we see each other by chance at Post and Beam. We got to give them a little credit. But anyway, it was nice to meet you personally. I met Greg too at my cousin Danny's graduation celebration. So
okay, there you go.
Robin, you're next.
All right, Robin, over to you.
Good day, everybody. Always glad to be here. I'm Robin Phillips with the Phillips Group. I'm a consultant working with entrepreneurs and entities who are looking to assess and be coached to a strategic planning process. Not the business plan, that's to be strategic about how you do business. Of course, I'm always on my platform regarding voting. You know, we're in a critical time period with our voice, because our vote is our voice. And I want to just say thank you to our regulars, you know, Ted, Joseph, Renee, Bianca. You guys are here every week. You're supporting, you're providing insight and information. And we just want to say thank you. We see you, and we recognize the fact that our show is as well as it is because of your participation. So thank you. All right, Greg, it's on you.
All right. Yes. We thank our guests, and this is a team that I see there. We haven't seen you in a while. You got some new do there. Yeah.
and Miss Sarah.
And Sarah. Hey, Sarah. Today we have Ms. Jean Franklin, and she is the executive director of Anchor of Hope, and we'll be learning more about what Anchor of Hope does and is doing and planning to do. She has also been very involved with the South Bay Workforce Investment Board, and that organization services 11 cities in the Southwest, including Hawthorne, Inglewood, Gardena, Carson, Lawndale, El Segundo, Manhattan Beach, Redondo Beach, Hermosa Beach, Torrance, and Lomita. She is a versatile, high energy, impact driven recruiter, job developer, case manager, and she did that for over 15 years there. And she has education from Cal State University, Dominguez Hills. We didn't get a chance to chat before we got started, so I have no idea where she's from, where she grew up, any of that stuff. So she'll be sharing that with us momentarily. She does have a presentation to share with us. So at this point in time, we're going to bring her to the virtual stage. Please welcome Jean Franklin.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so happy and honored and privileged to be invited to be a part and to on this community briefing. I want to say hi to Sarah Harris. I don't know if Sarah remembered marketing our event with United Job Creation Council.
Yes, I do. It's been a long time,
yes.
but I do. Good to see you.
Yes, yes. So I know time is at hand, and so I want to share a presentation. I hope I'm able to share my screen. Okay.
Yeah, you can, and I also have it loaded as well. So
you do? Okay, good. Okay, so then you can then scroll for me, right? Or
no extra charge.
Okay, thank you. Then you can put up the first panel. But first of all, let me state that I was born and raised in North Little Rock, Arkansas. I experienced Jim Crow. I experienced drinking water out of the colored only water fountain, riding the bus in the back, and then looking in the downtown area of North Little Rock. When I had to go to Little Rock, I had to catch the bus, and then at the bus stop, the interchange that I was on was a huge cafeteria, and colored people at the time called us colored people. We stood and looked inside this huge cafeteria, and nothing but white people, no Black people at all in it, but you could smell the wonderful food and so forth. My grandfather, step-grandfather, Jesse Thomas, and my father, Fred Glover, were both instrumental in my advocacy, not knowing that I was raised in a family where my grandfather, Jesse Thompson, founded Eastern Star Baptist Church in North Little Rock, Arkansas. So at the time, he would go to meetings, you know, with all of the Black preachers in North Little Rock, Arkansas, and talk about Martin Luther King and organizing on segregation. My grandfather would come and tell me, Jean, one day, you know, you're going to be able to go wherever you want to go and do whatever you want to do, and you don't have to hold your head down, because they were fighting for and organizing around integration. My father, Fred Glover, worked at the post office, and he was one of the first African American men that got hired and did on a postal route in North Little Rock, Arkansas. So my energy and my passion around jobs, around justice, around social justice is embedded in me. So I just wanted to share that. So it's really apropos for me to be here today on this Black History Month. So I apologize, Mrs. Sneed. I'm ready to go with the panel.
That's all right. No apology. But you wanted to, didn't have some of that information, so I'm glad you shared with that.
Yes,
And
yes.
so much. So welcome.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So the first panel, when you're ready to pull it up. Okay, great. I will be talking about connecting disadvantaged communities to Justice 40 opportunities. Next panel, please. Next slide, please. Thank you. Anchor of Hope International Ministries, and briefly, I want to thank my board president, Ted Booker, who's here, who's also the manager in business development and grants at Ahmed Institute, and also Lisa Fitch, who is our board secretary. And then I also want to mention Mr. Leslie Franklin Jr., who is my son. He has lived experience, and it was his experience being impacted, serving time in the criminal justice system, that my passion for Anchor of Hope and United Job Creation Council started. Is because once he was in prison, and because he was raised in church, and he came from a family where his father, both mother and father were in the home. We had a home and we raised in the church. He got, you know, impacted by the criminal justice system. So it just profoundly affected me so much that I wanted to do something. So I was actively involved in my church at the time, Greater Bethany Community Church. I was a former member of the City of Refuge, where I actually started Anchor of Hope International Ministries. So now my son, Leslie Jr., Franklin Jr., is our case manager. He's married, and lo and behold, he's actually married to a probation officer. But he's doing extremely well. He's active in the community. I just want to make that, to let you know how Anchor of Hope got started, and my involvement around justice and workforce development. Next panel, please. Anchor of Hope is a nonprofit organization founded in 2006 with the mission to provide clear pathways to living wage careers for justice-impacted residents of disadvantaged communities in Los Angeles County. Next slide, please. What is Justice 40? Now, I'm going to be talking about Justice 40. A couple of last year, and particularly right after everything started opening up after the pandemic, I was doing a lot of research regarding workforce development. And also I found out through one of my cohorts, and actually a founder of United Job Creation Council, which was a nonprofit organization that was founded in 2006, where I was the executive director of, Brad Carson, who is a founding member of United Job Creation, UJCC, spoke to me about Justice 40. And he said, we need to look at Justice 40. So then I started looking into it and found out that it is a Harris-Biden initiative, and where it's a federal, all government agencies are required to deliver 40% of overall benefits from federal investments in climate, clean energy, affordable housing, clean transit, and related programs must benefit the disadvantaged communities. Next slide, please. How does Justice 40 work? Justice 40 works by incorporating principles of equity and environmental justice into federal policies, programs, and investments. So here are 6 listings here. I'll go over it very briefly. Targeted investments, community engagement, which is critical, data and metrics, interagency coordination, which is collaboration, policy integration, and equity screening. Overall, Justice 40 is a comprehensive historical approach aimed at reshaping federal investments and policies to advance environmental and economic justice by prioritizing equity and inclusivity. The initiative seeks to address long-standing disparities and promote a more just and sustainable future. Next panel, please. Anchor of Hope has identified two meaningful benefits that should be included in all climate, clean energy, affordable housing, clean transportation, and equitable solutions. One is community-led economic development, including opportunities for community ownership, community benefits agreement, workforce development, entrepreneurship, and increased support for local, small, minority, and women-owned businesses, and authentic community engagement. Number two, green workforce, including policies that ensure jobs are accessible to workers from all backgrounds, provide competitive wages and benefits, and offer opportunities for union membership, as well as programs that prepare and sustain a skilled and diverse clean energy workforce, such as online and in-person training and education programs, work-based learning opportunities such as internship and apprenticeship, collegiate competition, certification programs, and support services such as career counseling, mentorship, and job readiness. Let me put a brief pin in what I'm about to say. United Job Creation Council, years back, like I stated, was a nonprofit organization. It was a formulation of churches, community-based organizations all around developing pathways for construction projects. And because my son was impacted by the criminal justice system, I, as a parent, didn't know what to do when he came home from prison. Having a background in the criminal justice system can impact you, and it's a mark on you that will stay with you, and you don't have enough opportunities to get yourself back on your feet, you know, as far as work and career and so forth, because they'll do background checks and all of that. So what type of opportunities would be available to him? So I was concerned about that. So I started organizing the churches and the faith community around advocating for local hire on construction projects. During that time, the Alameda Corridor was about to be built, which is a $2.5 billion construction rail project. And so I was also connected to Greater Bethany Economic Development Corporation. At the time, Robert Rubin was the executive director. He just recently passed. But Robert Rubin and Bonetta Johnson and myself, we were in a small office at Greater Bethany Community EDC. We started talking and dreaming and organizing, saying we need to do something and make sure that our community has some of the access to those jobs. So then we started organizing the churches and the community-based organizations. We started working with the Los Angeles Orange County building trades. We started working with construction training, Olivia Bailey. We started working with the Los Angeles Unified School District, Michael Richardson. We started working with Ernest Roberts of PV Jobs and Beverly Blake and Tony Massengale. Tony Massengale was our strategist. So we started organizing around that and advocating for policy. At that time, Mayor Villaraigosa was in office. He got wind of these Black churches and community-based organizations organizing, and so he wanted to start doing something himself. But then we worked together. We started working together, and then we started working with CRC. Then we started going into the community, collecting petitions and names stating that we wanted local hire in our community. So then we won local hire. It passed, the city council passed it, and it's called the Careers Construction Policy. Now it's PLAs on all workforce development projects. because of what we did in Los Angeles. Robert Rubin, Bonetta Johnson, Beverly Blake, Brad Carson, Michael Richardson, Los Angeles Unified School District, we build, and all of us. So that's where my passion comes from. So then I started focusing on the ministry side, organizing the church through Anchor of Hope, educating the churches on doing and having some sort of hub, entry level hubs at their sites. We started training and identifying what we call reentry ministries. We started advocating for reentry ministries at local churches. And so therefore we started dealing with case management. How do you do intake? How do you look for jobs and so forth? You mentioned Mrs. Sneed, South Bay Web. I was a job developer and case manager at South Bay Web, but also Robert Chavez, who was a program manager, was instrumental in helping UJCC and Anchor of Hope, helping South Bay Web actually get involved with the work that we were doing. So you can see now, in going back to Justice 40, Justice 40 is impacting because it's historical, which means that 40% of the benefits, all federal benefits, going through all of the agencies, federal agencies, transportation, housing, energy, labor, all of them must have, and when we call investments, we're talking about money, where all of the dollars, federal dollars, are going to these various agencies. Those federal dollars trickle down to the state level, from the state level to the county level, from the county level to the city level. These are dollars. So 40% of all the dollars that are going towards environmental issues, clean energies, and so forth must benefit the community, disadvantaged community. So what are the benefits? Benefits that we're looking for and advocating for are, again, jobs, green jobs. We want to make sure that our community, the formerly incarcerated, the poor, those within the community are not left behind. We want to educate our community about Justice 40. We want to have community engagement, started to talk about, what are you doing? What are you doing? We had a meeting with Holly Mitchell's office, with Pamela Leo. Holly Mitchell is really passionate about workforce investment. So now they're getting involved with green. We started collaborating and working with the LA County Department of Economic Opportunity. They're departments that deal with all of the workforce, the AJCCs, the workforce centers. We started working with the City of Los Angeles, a Department of Administration, and we started working with HUD. So we're one-on-one, and also with the trades, talking with them one-on-one. What are you currently doing as relates to jobs? My board president, Ted Booker, is very passionate about pathways, developing pathways on what jobs are there currently in green, and then what are the future jobs? Because we want to make sure that the people that we're dealing with understand about green. We don't want them to get into a trade like, going through the apprenticeship of being a roofer, a plumber, an electrician, a laborer, and then a cement mason. And at the end, they find out that they're not able to work on certain projects because of electrification and weatherization, and now hydrogen that is coming forth. We have to be innovative. We have to be creative. We have to understand that the strategies that we develop when it comes to workforce development for our people, we must look at it in a whole cloth. That now we're in a different age. We're in a new age of innovation, technology. So we have to incorporate that in our planning and training. So this is, Justice 40 is huge. So then what Anchor of Hope is doing now, we built a consortium called Justice 40 Consortium. And then Anchor of Hope, LA County Justice 40 Consortium is a cross-sector collaboration dedicated to creating green career pathways and business opportunities for justice-impacted individuals in the disadvantaged community. When I talk about disadvantaged businesses, I'm talking about micro disadvantaged businesses. When you talk about disadvantaged businesses, when you have $10 million in revenue coming in, I don't consider that disadvantage. I consider micro, those that are just starting up, those are 1 and 2 people, and their revenues are $50,000, $100,000, $500,000. So it's a disadvantaged community that we want to share information to about green. They're dealing with housing, retrofitting housing. Public housing now has to be retrofitted to have zero emission and transportation as well. Right now, Governor Newsom passed a bill where by 2035, there will be zero emissions in the state of California. So by 2035, there will not be any selling of gas cars run by gas. It would have to be electric or hydrogen. There is also retrofitting of homes, weatherization of homes, which means that you have to have heat pumps. You have to have certain appliances. You won't be, they're not going to be building homes. They're going to be green homes where it's not going to be green. It's not going to be gas appliances or gas water heaters. They're going to be installing heat pumps. So then there is green there. We're talking about solar on the roofs and things like that, but you're also talking about manufacturing. There's a whole wealth of newness that's going on. So our goal with our Justice 40 programming are to coordinate stakeholders, government agencies, schools, employers, provide relevant skills, training, and career pathways development, offer technical assistance for small and disadvantaged businesses, and educate residents on how to access opportunities. It's very important. Anchor of Hope, we just got funded through a Measure J funding through the new department of the LA County Justice Opportunity Care Department. That's the new department that oversees all of the funding, all of the resources when it comes to justice, justice and social service organizations that impact, criminal justice. So we just got awarded a 3-year contract to do, Anchor of Hope, to do job preparation, training, and also job placement for adult impacted individuals, criminal justice impacted individuals. So our focus is on identifying green jobs, connecting to green training, connecting those trainings to actual jobs. So it's no need of educating and training individuals, getting them certified, and at the end, that's not connected to a real sustainable job. So our Justice 40 Consortium, that is what we're doing. We're also, on April 18th, we're having a community education information meeting with an organization called Archies. Archies, ARCHES. Archies just won a $2 billion award from the federal government through the Department of Energy, focusing on hydrogen. So we're going to be doing an educational information seminar on that. So Joan Langford will be our guest. So all the information on that Anchor of Hope will be providing that webinar. So you can go down to the next panel, please. So here are some of our consortium partners or collaborators. I won't call them partners. I will call them collaborators. Are the Los Angeles County Department of Economic Opportunity, the City of Los Angeles Bureau of Contract Administration, Los Angeles Orange County Building Construction Trades Council, United Hood Nation, East 7 Architect Studios, which is Michael Rendler, Los Angeles Trade Technical College, Work Ready Online, LLC, Building Performance Institute, Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles Clean Tech Incubator, Emerald Cities, LA, Arches, HUD, and TV Jobs. Together with our collaborative partners, we can ensure investments reach those most in need. Next panel, please. Our Justice 40 consortium approach, our strategic approach to accomplishing our goals includes identifying existing best practices, resource gaps, additional resource needs, and other solutions needed to scale equitable access to the benefits of the Los Angeles disadvantaged communities, educate residents and micro disadvantaged business contractors on Justice 40 opportunities through community engagement forums, informational workshops, and conferences, making connections between federal, state, county, and city schools, training programs, and employers by providing technical assistance to small businesses on procurement and how to access funding for training. Next panel, please. Opportunity Works program, and I just briefly mentioned about Opportunities Work, but at Anchor of Hope, our key component of our work is providing employment training opportunities and placement to justice-impacted individuals residing in Los Angeles County in construction, green jobs, and hospitality industry, so residents can access quality living wage jobs. Next panel, please. Our campaign, again, a key focus of our consortium is our Green Pathways campaign to develop clean energy and a career pipeline. The next panel, please. Our next step, to fully realize the potential of Justice 40, we need your support. Here are some upcoming initiatives and ways to get involved. Attend our upcoming April 18th virtual Community Justice 40 information session. Speaker will be Joy Langford from Arches. Connect your business or organization if you can provide job training, hiring commitments, small business financing, or technical support. You can call Anchor of Hope at 310-938-7458 or email jfranklin@anchorofhope-opportunitiesworks.org. If you are a justice-impacted adult residing in Los Angeles County and would like to enroll in Anchor of Hope Opportunities Work Program, register on our Anchor of Hope website at www.aohministry, that's MINISTRY.org, or call 310-938-7458. Next slide, please. Call to action. We welcome additional employers, job training partners, outreach volunteers, and advocates to get involved in the Justice 40 LA County Consortium and Green Pathways campaign. Next slide, please. And this is a flyer of Opportunity Works. Next slide, please. Thank you. That's the end of my presentation. And again, I thank a community briefing for this opportunity to share information about our history of Anchor of Hope and United Job Creation Council. Thank you.
Ms. Franklin, oh my goodness, I'm elated for your presentation. I'm elated for your spirit because, you know, I always ask my clients, what is the why? What is your purpose? Yeah, you want to make money, you want to sell widgets, but what are you purposed in doing? Why are you purposed in doing that? You are a leader. You're not scared. You're informed. I just want, on behalf of all of us, we want to entreat you. We truly want to entreat you. You've done an exceptional job laying out how you got started, where you are, and what the need is. A lot of times people don't even get to the part about how I can help. What do I need to do? And so again, thank you for that. I think that people are not really familiar with Justice 40. I'm working on the development project that we can talk about at another time, but we are accessing Justice 40 money. We're accessing infrastructure money. What people need to understand that you've explained, these are our tax dollars.
Yes.
Back to the reason why we have to vote. These are our tax dollars, but in order for them to come into our community, we need a Gene Franklin. We need an anchor of hope. We need a Ted Booker to actually make that happen. So I truly want to thank you for that. I want to talk a little bit about, though, I saw in there that when you looked at your collaborative partners, I was wondering from a training standpoint, knowing that we have all of these new industries and new ways of doing business and business being done, who else is out there providing the kinds of training that's needed to get these people prepared to be able to utilize the services?
And that's what that's what we've been trying to hone in on. This is new to everyone, including the various agencies. So they are doing what we call community engagement, but they're doing community engagement within their actual, community. Okay, which means that the California Energy Commission, for one, they are looking at this. Also, with I know Grid Alternative. They're one of the major solar organizations as well, and also Trade Tech. They're looking at this, and we brought forth a forum. We did a forum on February 17th with everyone to actually talk about that. Who are the training providers? What are you training in? And then how are those trainings connected to actual jobs? So we're looking for training that's paid training, paid while they're being trained. Because again, it's Justice 40 disadvantaged communities. So that means that once they're in training, they need to get paid while they're in training.
Right.
Okay. And then after they receive that training and certification, there needs to be strong job development with partnering with these manufacturers. For example, heat pump installation and manufacturing. There is an agency called Building Performance Institute that Anchor of Hope is involved in on their advisory committee, where they are looking at that issue on who the actual training, developing pre-apprenticeship training programs in heat pumps. So then they're connecting with the heat pump manufacturers. The heat pump manufacturers are the ones that are beginning to develop the training piece because they know more than anyone else what's required to install, and maintain these heat pumps. So then they are the manufacturers, and the manufacturers are connected to the actual contractors.
Yeah.
What I find is appalling is a lot of the agencies identifying this as a job developer and as an advocate, identifying who the contractors are. For example, on these public housing projects and so forth. You have HUD Section 3. So you have to be able to identify who are the certified contractors who will be getting these contractors on these public housing projects. It's hard to find the names of these contractors. They don't share it. Okay, same thing with the manufacturer. So what they do is, when I say they, let me stop using that broad term. What I found, and this is what Anchor of Hope and our collaborative, we will not do. We will share information. We will connect organizations to other programs and services to our fault, because we found when we dealt with UJCC, United Job Creation Council, and started collaborating on organizing and educating and connecting, people started to want to do their own thing. Mm-hmm. So then there was that disconnection. So they were over here having sidebar conversations to try to get a contract. And then they would hold off and not share. How did you get this? Who are you dealing with? So we can also talk to them as well. So Anchor of Hope and our consortium, that's what we want. We want to make sure, because we will share information, we will connect, and then we'll make sure that happens. So just to answer your question, Robin.
I'd like to jump in real quick. One of the reasons why I wanted Jean to present here is because the same intensity that was used to get that local hire initiative, the same energy we put behind this green initiatives. And we're advocating for individuals, but we need BBA and Recycling Black Dollars to come with us to advocate for small business, because they're both in the same category. And it's the small businesses. It's a number of the small businesses that's going to hire our folks. Mm-hmm. So we all need to work together to be able to push this to move this train. So it is important at this stage that they participate in the process of what we're doing, so that you firsthand will get access, because we're moving in a way and getting recognition from a lot of folks. I'm involved with Los Angeles Black Workers Center. I went to DC last year. They knew who we were. We met with the labor secretary, and they knew who Anchor of Hope was and the kind of stuff that we were doing, and we're following, and they're following our activity. So it works best if we work as a collective to move this train.
Well, and Ted, thank you for, that comment and your leadership as well. I certainly, having spent time in procurement when I was working for another organization, and then working for an organization that certified women-owned businesses, I have some thoughts around how do you work with those primes? How do you work with those primes? Because at the end of the day, everybody's trying to keep their money, right? However, these are our tax dollars that are being allocated. And that's the part that we have to help the community understand. You're not going there with a tin cup. These are your tax dollars at work. So we have to help them learn how to advocate as well. To your point, yes, these organizations would be meaningful in supporting the movement. But at the end of the day, we need those boots on the ground. We need folks to show up where they're supposed to be. If we create an opportunity for them to be trained, they have to show up on time. They have to be able to pass a drug test, on all of the criteria that's out there. And so, to your point, I truly believe in advocacy, but I also want to be a realist around the fact that this community briefing, we offer a lot of resources every Thursday for the last 4 years. So the question becomes, how many people have truly taken advantage of the connections that we've made? And so again, I look forward to that. The other thing I want you to bring a little bit more information to the table around these community benefit agreements, that those documents that brings folks to the table. If you don't get a community benefit agreement, then folks don't have to come to the table. But you guys have done a great job with bringing folks to the table. So can you speak a little bit about that?
Yes, and Ted can jump in as well. First of all, with the community benefits agreement, every agency has to establish a community benefits agreement. Mm-hmm. So they're meeting and they're holding public meetings, And then they have where you can give your input, you know, either verbally or in writing to the various committees on what you would like to see in the community benefits agreement. That works. That's one portion. But the other portion is to have a local consortium, such as the one we're dealing with Justice 40, to bring together all of the players, and we then come up with our own community benefits agreement and say, this is what we want in the benefits agreement. Mm-hmm. So if we want X amount of dollars set aside, so many hours set aside for our community to access or be a part and receive some of those jobs, then that has to be spelled out in that community benefits agreement that our consortium developed. Okay. And then at the table, for example, we're looking to have a gathering of a community benefits I guess you'd want to call it a strategy. And we're inviting Michael Rendler from E7 Architect to facilitate that discussion. We are inviting UCLA, USC, the LADWP, Metro, and also our Board of Supervisors, amongst our other collaboratives that we just mentioned, to come and let's talk about developing our own community benefits agreement. Mm-hmm. So that's our next step.
That's wonderful. There's a question from Tina Phillips. How is the South Bay Workforce Economic Development Organization contributing to Justice 40 in the Green Pathways campaign?
I don't know. Mm-hmm. And okay. So we are meeting with Rafael Nunez from the LA County Economic Opportunity Department. So they're over the work source centers. So he's a part of our collaborative as well. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're looking to do, to make sure not just South Bay, but also the Work Source Center in Long Beach, and one in East LA and so forth. Because it has to be, all has to be coordinated and connected.
I'd like to add also, Jane, where green is concerned, there's a big disconnect. And the population that we're talking about don't have a clue about how to engage. From some of the events that we had so far, getting into green is not like regular job affairs. You just go someplace and put in an application. Correct. They start off at informational sessions. I've seen some stuff that we've had that the youngsters will come. If they don't see an employer there, they figure that the opportunity is not for them, so they'll stay for a few minutes and leave. But one of the things which is one thing Jean mentioned, I'm so adamant about right now, because when you talk to folks about green technology, they in some sense talk in a philosophical way, and they're very unclear about what is available right now. Mm-hmm. And so two things we're asking to happen: to be very clear about what's available right now at this time that's available, and what's happening in the future. And for the stuff that's available right now, we want you to have any training anybody have. Like we talk with Lacey and anybody else, any training that you have, we want to see, can you help us with a career, with a map, with a career map that said, if you take this training, these are the career paths that you'll be able to have. And because in some of the green spaces too, training is going on to put the cart before the horse. Some training is going on and the job opportunity is not ready for them yet. And so we're trying to put a stop. We're trying to put a stop on that as well. So we're trying to ensure that if you get a training, it's directly leading into an employment opportunity. You're not sitting there waiting; they're waiting for you. Mm-hmm. But we need those career maps, and when we finally have, we push back out with career fair. When we get to that fair, we want those career maps for every area. So we're really pushing for someone to put up the money and maybe get Trade Tech or some of the other entities to help us with those career maps. Whatever kind of training that you get, we need you to be able to see, this is what, if you take this training, this is the career path that you're going to be on. And so we need something very similar for small businesses. And before I think one of the things that's going to be instrumental is joint ventures, because some of our businesses don't have the capital. But if you put a couple of the same businesses with the same trade together in a joint venture, they'll better be able to to go after contracts as a joint venture.
My personal opinion, I think that instead of a joint venture, do a teaming agreement. That way you can court and decide whether you like each other or not, or do the cultures clash, does the mission align. I think that's really, really critical to do that, because once you do a joint venture, getting out of that is hard. But if you do a teaming agreement, everybody keeps their own space, you come together to collaborate, you see if you can court and date and get married. Then you go to a joint venture. I got a few little tactics around this process that I've been able to hone over the years. I have so many questions that I could ask. I'm so enamored with what you're doing. I'm going to ask. Matter of fact, Tina had her hand up and she had a question. So you want to come off the mute and ask your question?
Yes, thank you. Actually, it was a comment about South Bay Economic Development Organization that, and this is a part of my my upbringing was in South Bay, Torrance, since I was 12 years old. And so what's been happening, the changes that have been happening in the South Bay have really affected so many people, and especially people of color. I will make a call to Rafael Nunez this afternoon and do what I can. But also in terms of economic development, we focus on the jobs, and the training includes, the training includes participation in Black Business Association, in California Endowment, in these events, because that's what kept my skills going when I had when I was affected by COVID, when I was since I left college in the 90s, I became a volunteer. And now we have the opportunity to empower volunteers by giving them a stipend so that they can still pay their bills while they're waiting for that job to come through, because it's very competitive. That's why I go into events, because events helped me to keep my skills going, to keep my connection to the community. And so thank you so much, Crystal, and thank you so much, Sarah, for putting your flyers on so that we see and we can send volunteers out to these events so that they can continue to have their skills for training and for employment.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
For sure. We're getting close to our wrap-up time, and I want to ask Greg or Crystal if they want to pipe in. But Sarah, again, we just, Reverend Franklin, ooh-wee. You're Jeremiah 29:11. You are. That's my scripture, and you are wearing it well. You really, really are. You really are.
Amen. Praise God.
What I think that you learned, which is what I always tell people, stop operating in silos, because silos are barriers to non-success. If you stay in the silo, then somebody's going to move forward, but not everybody's going to move forward. And the other thing that I wanted to, Greg had mentioned this, and I wanted to make sure we talked about this. You talked about micro businesses. I literally, I don't mind helping them, but you got to want this help, right? What we're talking about, this is the struggle that we have. We've been doing this for almost 4 years. We got 18 participants online right now. Again, the information that we provide every week, the Lord sends, is stuff that our community needs. But getting folks to pay attention to their own attention we got to pray about it, because it's going to need divine order. I'm gonna shut up.
Well, there's actually a link in the chat, guys, and for those of you that are new to the community briefing, I've put our mission here. So my utopia is that we are working together to make sure we close those gaps, so we know what is going on, why it's going on, and who is behind and who's sitting at tables. So we ask of you if you can just share. If you go to our YouTube channel, the link is there. Share the videos. There are so many incredible people that have been here on this platform bringing amazing information. One of the things we usually get in our community is we don't know. Well, that's no longer, you can no longer use that excuse. That information's there. Here are the people sitting at tables making decisions on our behalf. You get to know them. You get to have a conversation with them. I hope you're reaching out to them. I hope you're offering your services. Ted has been here. Ted, I would imagine you've been here since we've been here. I didn't know you had such a powerhouse right behind you, man. You're amazing, Jean. Thank you so much. Our goal is to make the community briefing the voice, the virtual voice for everyone. So please use our platform, use us. We're all connected. Sarah has the Black Business Association, the BBA, the Recycling Black Dollars. Every one of us are connected to someone. And then there's just others. Joseph is connected to everybody. Leo is connected to everyone. So let us use us, because no one's coming to save us, guys. We are the saviors, and so let us help. I applaud you both for what you're doing. Thank you so much, Ted, for bringing Jean to us. I don't know, it's just amazing. Let's Greg, anything?
No, the only thing I would is focusing on micro business versus small business. Chase Bank considers small business anything under $100 million in revenue. 100 million. That's their small business demarcation, and a lot of other major banks as well. So I think focusing on micro will help. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. And you guys, there is the community briefing has a group page. So if you have flyers and so forth, you're more than welcome to upload that or send it to me, and I'll make sure it's uploaded. They will also be uploaded into our description on our YouTube channel. So please, we appreciate it. Tomorrow we're having our breakfast, and if you didn't get in like the first 4 days we sent that flyer out, I'm so sorry, guys. It was sold out in 2 days, and that's what happens when you have unity. So this is the United Chambers came together. We sold out in 2 days. Yeah, I guess we're in a sought after event.
And food.
And food, yeah, and doulins. We're gonna have Kareem Webb tomorrow speaking. He's an entrepreneurial activist. But don't worry, we have another event coming up sometime in June for Juneteenth. So, but I tell you, if we put the flyer out, y'all better be jumping on it like the minute we put it out, because I can't promise that you can be there if it's sold out. So,
so one of the things I want to say, and Greg, to your point, most companies utilize the SBA small business ban, right? And for them, a small business is $10 million. So again, that's missing a lot of people. Everybody will operate on the higher side versus the lower side. But what I did love that I heard, I've often said, I've sat before the CPUC a couple of times, and I've often asked if a guy can if a plumber can lay pipe next to fiber optics, why can't he be trained to lay fiber optics? Because if he's laying pipe next to that fiber optics, he understands safety, he understands the process and all of that. So what we're talking about is, how do we transfer these natural skills that Black people have? How do we transfer these skills for what I call next generation needs? And so again, I love what you said about working with the manufacturers and getting to the primes, because at the end of the day, it's an old boys network. It always will be, and it always will be until we show up in numbers. So, you know, again, thank you.
We have our first meeting today with Turner, so we'll see what they're talking about.
Oh, awesome.
Steven,
So
Crystal, what we got next week?
Next week we have, let me see, Steven, is he still there?
Yeah. Come off of mute.
We have David P. Anderson, the new chief officer for the new Los Angeles Urban League, and Cynthia Mitchell-Hurd. But David P. Anderson will be taking the lead with the new Los Angeles Urban League.
The new.
I met him last night. You all will be very impressed with him.
Good.
Okay, so there you go. So tune in next week, as well as March 5th, guys, is election day. Please get out there, but don't just willy-nilly just fill out that ballot. Please do your research on your judges, your schools, the propositions, read the fine print, do your detail. Emma's not here. She was having technical difficulties today. She's having an event at her home. If you guys know Emma Maxey, reach out to her. We're doing that tomorrow, Saturday afternoon, just going over the ballot. She's got hopefully some people coming in that's on those ballots to have some conversation with us. So make sure you do your work and understand what's happening and why we're voting. Because there's some things happening that we just cannot sleep. This is probably in our lifetime one of the most important elections that we will participate in. Democracy's on the line, and for us Black folks, we always on the line, so it don't really matter, but we always on the line. It's 12 o'clock at the event. And if you're interested, RBD is in the midst of selling ads for our resource guide. It's a community helping community and supporting your business. So if you're interested in getting an ad, reach out to me and I can get you the details for that. We will have our stuff there tomorrow at the breakfast mixer. All right. Anything else? Thank you, guys. Thank you, Sarah.
Sarah just posted the forum for the LA Unified Board 1. Dr. McKenna is retiring, and there are a bunch of people running for this. What, 10 or 12 folks running for that board? So some of them have educational experience, some. So.
And I believe there's a bunch of people running for the 8th district, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 8th and 10th. So you want to do your work, your studying to make sure this is the right person working for all of us. Okay, because the city council has some issues.
And the threshold for running for senator must have been very low, because I think there are 30 people on the ballot for senator. It's like, what, really?
Yeah. Well, remember that California, we needed to stay blue. Very, very important, guys. So just do your homework, make sure. This video, I will work on it this weekend and get it up as soon as possible. But today we're concurrent with all our videos on YouTube. So please go over to our YouTube channel. I posted up 2 yesterday. And so go over there and check it out. Subscribe, guys, subscribe. Okay, that's going to be a way we monetize this platform in addition to our donations. So we need you to start subscribing. Send it out to everyone you know. Also like the videos if you enjoyed the conversations. All righty, with that, we will see you guys next week. And thank you so much for joining us. Tell everybody, 11 o'clock Thursday, every Thursday, we are here with somebody spectacular and amazing in our community. Jean, wow, lady, I thought I was passionate. You got me beat by like 10 octaves. Thank you for your work, Ted. Thank you for your work. I'm just in awe, and I bow down to you. Kudos for the work that you guys are doing.
Thank you. So long, everybody.
We have a lot of accolades in our chat box, and invite everybody to come back again.